In today's global economy, wealth is no longer just created in isolation. It's built through systems, relationships, and access. Trade is not only about goods moving across borders, it's about the ideas, influence, and opportunity flowing between people and industries and nations. When we talk about the future of trade, we are really talking about the future of collaboration. Behind every thriving economy is a network that understands how to align business with policy, investments, and infrastructure, and the talent with opportunity. Real wealth generation happens when we understand the full ecosystem. Campaigns are not just political, they are strategic tools that ensure the right people are in office, people who understand development, stability, and long-term growth. Government relations is not optional, it's essential. It's how industries hold elected officials accountable while also ensuring communities are represented in decision-making processes that shapes their future. See, lobbying when used correctly is not about influence for the few. It's about pushing forward policies that open doors for many. Policies that create fair access to market funding and opportunity. Then comes fundraising, capital mobilization, because ideas without funding remains ideas. Strategic funding becomes the engine that supports development, allowing to build roads, expand infrastructure, and connect underserved regions to global markets. From there, investment flows into housing, healthcare, and education, creating a holistic foundation where communities are not just surviving, but becoming stable, self-sustaining ecosystems of growth. And within that ecosystem, we cannot ignore the role of women, because when women are empowered in trade and commerce, entire societies shift. Today's guest is Commissioner Dr. Ian G. Campbell, President of Manchester Global Solutions, a Washington, D.C. based government affairs lobbying and international advisory firm. As a member of the Maryland Governor's Africa's Commission, Dr. Campbell works at the intersection of policy, diplomacy, and economic development. He helps connect opportunities between the United States, Africa, and the global diaspora. Recognized in 2026 with the Exceptional Leadership in Diplomacy and Development Award, Dr. Campbell has built a reputation for turning relationships and policy and strategic partnerships into real economic impact. His work focuses on government relations, infrastructure investment, business development, and helping individuals and organizations leverage global networks to create lasting wealth and opportunity. Please help me welcome Commissioner Dr. Ian G. Campbell to the Next 250.
Sure. Grocery prices affect everybody. So the average person, we all need to eat. And when we go to the grocery store, we can see it as clear as day. Milk, juice, fruits and vegetables. Our products, you see this shift. The prices start to increase. If you go to the grocery store every week and you spend $50 every week, when things change, your $50 are coming out with less groceries. Or your $50 go to $65 to $75 to $85. And you're like, I'm buying the same things, but you can clearly see how much it costs and the increase in cost week over week. And for the average person, you can't sugarcoat that. That's real. So that's one of the first indicators, gas prices. It's clear as day. It was $50 to fill up your tank. Now it's $75. That's $125. It's clear as day. And you can't lie to people. You can't pull the mask over anybody's eyes. We all on fixed income. If you have a job, you're on a fixed income. So I laugh when I hear those commercials. If you're on a fixed income, unless you're in sales and marketing or you have investments, you're on a fixed income. Every week, every 2 weeks, you get the same paycheck. You're on a fixed income, and your dollar will buy less as prices go up unless your dollar increases, unless your paycheck increases. And coupled with inflation and the high tax prices, it's as clear as day. We feel it immediately, week after week.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everyone is experiencing the pressure from it. And so people don't understand what role the government and policies have in all of this.
I'd like to paint this very clear example with people when they say, well, the government, I got nothing to do with that, doesn't really affect me. Everything you do, whether it's stopping at a stop sign, going on green light, the freedom to wear whatever colors you want. That's the government. The fact is, we're going to be paying for air soon. We're paying for water. That was crazy 30 years ago, paying for water. Now we're paying for water. 25 years from now, we'll be paying for clean air. You have to buy a device that you click on. If you want clean air, you're going to pay for it. Because if you look at certain athletes, they're doing it now when they're running. They'll have a air filter on. So the people that get elected, if you look at it over the last 20 years, 25 years, more and more millionaires are getting elected. What the problem is? These millionaires are not connected to everyday people. They're not going to the grocery store. They're not driving around in the regular cars. They're not connected to what's going on in everyday people's lives. They don't make policies that impact working mothers, young children, disadvantaged communities, underserved populations. Their policies are for more corporate profits, other things to make them more comfortable, and the average person is just not connected to that. We aspire to those things, but in the meantime, we're being crushed by these policies. Until we have average people in the position as representation of the people, we're going to continue to have these type of disparities. And you can see over the last two terms of the current president, it's gotten worse for the American people, the American economy, our standing in the world, and everything else that's going on. It's a reflection of who we put in power.
So, but if people don't want to vote, right, or like voting is kind of like one of those things that are, like you just hear it over and over and over that you got to vote, and people are not coming out to the polls in the proportion that just makes logic sense. Like it's not happening. Why don't they just grow their own food? Why not just have their own businesses? Why people don't? Like, what's up with that? Like, are government officials talking about things like that, or are they getting behind like pushing initiatives like community gardens, things like that?
It's interesting because 1995 to 2005, being an entrepreneur, a small business owner, was encouraged. You'd be able to write off a lot more on your taxes. It was easier to register a business and claim entrepreneurship of a home-based business. That was great. People were flourishing. There were a lot of people selling things, more entrepreneurs, and they realized that too many of our people, lower class people, were going from lower class to middle class, and the middle class was thriving. They called it the backbone of the American economy. They killed it. They took the policies, they changed it, make it more difficult. They make it difficult to get the exceptions. They killed the middle class because now there's people who are poor and there are billionaires. That gap is so vast that it's incredible. So we talk about, I'll just grow my own food. It's not so simple. We all benefit. We're talking about Monsanto products and seeds, and there might be ways to grow it in your apartment, your concrete jungle. It can be done, but the truth of the matter is, not everybody have an acre of land that they're living on. They can just go and put up a chicken coop and get their own eggs and grow beans and fruits and vegetables. And how much food can we grow to sustain ourselves in a city or in a confined space that we're living in? If you don't have farmland to actually farm on to feed yourself 365 days of the year, and we're not all vegetarians. And so if you want some beef or chicken, pork, lamb, you can't just say, well, I'm just going to go back and get me a sheep. It doesn't work that way. So ideally, it's great that you can plant some vegetables, some zucchinis and peas and things of that sort. But is that enough to sustain you and your family for 365 days a year? Community gardens are great and co-ops are great, but it's not enough to sustain a community. It has to be every church, every school, every nonprofit in the community have to be doing these community gardens, and we're trading amongst each other for the community, and everybody in the community is part and belong to it. So if everybody now has
That's
some kind of
exactly, yeah.
garden. Hmm?
That's exactly what we were saying. It was like, what if like everybody on this street, one house could be, you make the carrots, you house it, and we start trading within it. So I'm
Yes.
glad you hit that on the head. You drove home two major points. One point is the fact that we need to generate wealth because if we can't own the land, then we can't really do the movement, and also with trade, right? So
Yes.
kind of like when we apply those same concepts, yes, we know about in our communities. Let's take a look at just where we are as a nation, right? We are America's superpower, okay? But when you look at global trade today, there's some gaps between opportunity and access when it comes to that. Why do you think that is, or can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I love talking about trade because we look at trade in a very different view. We think of trade with nations like we have a free trade agreement with China or Singapore or Morocco, but trade it goes back to bartering. It goes back to my neighbor needs oil. I have rice. We'll get some oil for some rice. We'll trade. We'll barter. And our communities talk about Black Wall Street. We are never isolated to just ourselves. We trade with our brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora, and that was our strength. We have to look at trade beyond the person across the street, beyond just the United States and another country, the state of Maryland, the state of California, the state of Louisiana, the state of New Jersey can trade with each other and with other nations. They can sign trade agreements with other nations. The same token, your organization, your association can trade with another association overseas communities. And we have to look beyond our boundaries or our neighborhood and find partnerships in other parts of the world.
If you're in the trade industry, an online team can handle your marketing, customer service, and scheduling so you can focus on your job while the business continues to grow, which is why we've partnered with remoting.work to give you access to a resource to build a team that you need.
What if the biggest reason your business isn't growing isn't your idea, your work ethic, or your strategy? It's that you don't have the right team beside you. You've built something valuable, but handling everything alone, sales, marketing, admin, just isn't sustainable. With remoting.work, get vetted, full-time employees from around the globe working your time zone in secure environments, already verified. From lead generation to digital marketing to admin support, we find the right match without fake resumes, hiring headaches, or draining your budget. And with our employer concierge, you're supported day one. So, what would change if you finally had the right help? With remoting.work, you're not just surviving, you're scaling with confidence.
I totally agree with you, right? Because what I'm hearing is through trade, we can generate more wealth, right? By, thinking outside of the box, right? But now I'm a common person. How do I get to know someone in a totally different country that maybe I've never even been to?
That's funny because your neighbor is probably from another country. Truth be told, folks from other countries live in our communities. They're not like, rare to find somebody who's from somewhere else. I mean, I'm Jamaican, my buddy's Colombian, I got folks who are Nigerian, folks who are from here, there, and everywhere. It's opening up the conversation. It's starting the conversation. Hey, where you from? Asking them where they're from. Show interest in those opportunities in those lands because more likely they came here for opportunity. They're looking for opportunity. That's what we're told. Come to America, it's the greatest country on earth. The streets are paved with gold. You can get rich. Truth of the matter is, there's some truth to that. But if that was true for everybody would be coming here and retiring in 10 years, go back to their country and live well. The opportunity, you have to find it, seek it out. And not everybody who's a from Dubai has oil. Not everybody from Dubai is rich. Not every Nigerian has access to oil. Not every Ghanaian have access to gold. People are people. We have to do our research, establish relationships, uh, figure out the process for doing business. How do you structure the company? How do you register the company out? You get funding from some of the U.S. government agencies. You get grants. You do partnerships.
Someone may be thinking, well, okay, so I've talked with my church and I'm going to get this going, but I don't quite connect with the people and stuff. And so I'm also in entertainment as well, and I've seen how it just brings people together. It unites us. So it's a powerful like diplomacy in a way, when it comes to opening up trade and international partnerships. Do you utilize entertainment at all in any of your practices?
Entertainment will get you in the door faster than policy or even a business transaction. And that's vice versa. That's here and there, whether in the United States or in other countries. If you're the entertainment that's coming in, you're disarming any opposition. People are looking. It could be embarrassing. It can really be something that you take for granted, the level of talent that folks have and how much they work hard to improve their lifestyle and condition. We think that America produces the best, everything. And that's great for our ego. The reality is very different. We produce the best because we bring people from all over the globe to come here and they participate and we have the opportunity for them to grow. The opportunity to partner and do music, it helps you raise your level of ability and understand their families. The arts, entertainment, movies, music, all of it is a great addition to open the doors so you can get a chance to know people, meet people, soft diplomacy.